Hello, everyone, and welcome to the tavern. I'm in cosplay, which must mean I'm talking about something fandom related. And I guess I'll just be in character the whole time, because that's what people do online, right? You just act like the character the whole time. I like Tamaki. And yeah, I'm wearing the gym outfit primarily because it's summer, it's hot, and I'm not wearing the full school uniform. Yet again, another moment where Catalyst does something that makes me go, why? Now, hear me out. I know anyone who watches Battletech faction briefings or some of the videos my brother and I have done discussing Gothic and the Kickstarter for Voltron might think you're just a Catalyst hater. It's like you're just go join those other guys. And the thing is, I'm not really a Catalyst hater. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they've made some really stupid choices, but I don't hate the company. They haven't done anything as egregious as Wizards of the Coast or Games Workshop. So from my perspective, I don't hate them as much. I'm not saying they're a good company. I'm saying I don't hate them as much. And obviously, I'm not a shill. I've even made comments in some of my videos about the shill types, and the shill types have posted all their, oh my god, Battletech Gothic is the greatest thing of our videos. So yeah, you know who the shills are, you know who the real people are. Anyhow, let's talk about why Catalyst making yet another Kickstarter is a bad idea. There's a little bit of background you should probably know before we really get into this. First off, Catalyst has done a lot of Kickstarters in the recent years. We have gotten the Battletech Clans and the Battletech Mercenaries Kickstarters. We also had a Shadowrun Kickstarter, a Frostpunk Kickstarter, and of course the Voltron Kickstarter my brother and I talked about. And I think they've done one or two others. Don't quote me on that one, but I'm fairly certain they did. One of the things that tends to very much be the case every time they do a Kickstarter is the fact that they go and take forever to give their stuff. When this one got announced, my brother and I were like, wait a second, have they finished the Voltron stuff? And I went onto the Kickstarter page, I looked it up, and according to the most recent information I could find, they are still getting approval for the games, but I can find no discussion online or on YouTube about it. In fact, when I was searching around, I found a video that was like, hey, announcement video. And then I saw the videos of me and my brother, and there's like nothing else. It's as if no one cared, which is exactly kind of what we've said. It would have a niche group of people who would fund the Kickstarter, which did happen, and then it would just kind of fade into the ether, which happened. In fact, any discussion I could find with Frostpunk, which happened earlier this year, by the way, is that people were being like, yeah, don't trust this, don't go for this. Games based on the game we like might not be that good. And the thing with Frostpunk that got to me was this is a niche game to begin with. This isn't like one of the mainstream video games out there. This isn't, oh, we made a game based on Metroid, big game based on Sonic, or we made a game based on the Soulsborne franchise, which do have games. It falls under that category of when Frostpunk was announced, I was like, that sounds familiar, but I don't know why. And I went and looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. That I've seen it on like Steam sales and stuff. And which is why I didn't even do a video about it, because I'm like, this isn't even like a franchise worth covering. No offense, Frostpunk fans. I'm just pointing out that like the Kickstarter was not something that would have been worth discussing. So yeah, the Kickstarters don't have a lot of faith in them from average people. There's a lot of people who are really upset about how long it took to get their Battletech stuff, and most of the others I can find almost no discussion about, which to me means there's not enough people to warrant discussion. And then you have stuff like Battletech Gothic and the threatened other Battletech alt-universe concept things that they want to do, which, ugh. You could see where people are starting to lose faith in the company. One, the fact that you need to kickstart a bunch of games is not a positive sign. You don't see Games Workshop kickstarting stuff. You don't see WotC kickstarting stuff. You don't see Paizo kickstarting a bunch of stuff. And every time they put up a new one, all I can do is just sigh. And I noticed that seems to be a common feeling amongst a lot of people. Oh god, another Catalyst Kickstarter. How many is it this year? To answer your question, this is the second one this year, in addition to Voltron, which was late last year. So in the course of a year's worth of time, they've done 3. Frankly, outside of Battletech, none of the Kickstarters have done gangbusters. In addition to that, they can't even finish releasing one product before they're already trying to get you to buy the next one. And while some of these products might be good, I mean, let's face facts, that Voltron one is going to suck. I have a video discussing the rules, they aren't great. You have, of course, the big problem of the more you do this, the less people are going to be interested. Anyone who might say, I want to support Catalyst because I like them as a company, might support one Kickstarter a year. 3 in the course of less than 12 months? That's a bit excessive. And then to find out that, oh yeah, the Voltron stuff isn't even completed, and who knows when it'll even be shipping. I have no idea what's going on with the Frostpunk game, as I can find no information about that. I would assume all the mercenary stuff has been sent in by now, but who knows. The point is, this is a horrible way to run a company, and you're just going to be causing more problems for your company. Because the more people lose faith, the more people will stop supporting you. With the niche products that they're putting out, getting the smaller Kickstarters is normal, but when they put out a big one, who's to say what's going to happen? According to information I found online, and I don't know how reliable this is, Catalyst has decided they will not do another Battletech Kickstarter because of the sheer logistical issues that come with how popular Battletech is. Probably a good idea. It still goes into that point, they're not slowing down doing Kickstarters. They're just not going to do a massive one anymore. Unfortunately, the one they chose for their new niche game could be massive if promoted properly. Now that you have the background, let's kind of break down what we know about the game thus far. Alright, so here it is. The My Hero Academia Miniatures game. Now I know what you're thinking, there have been plenty of superhero-themed tabletop games in the past. Some of them are terrible, but some of them are pretty good. Unlike many of those games, this one is designed solely based on combat, at least according to the information we are given on this little backer kit page. You can see some of the little designs here. It's pretty cool. And I do like how elaborate everything looks. You can kind of see it better here with just a whole load of the characters, with all the weird dazzle that's around them. And it brings up two major points for me. The first, there's no way the toys will be this elaborate when we get them. If they are this elaborate, they'll have to be very expensive. And if they aren't this elaborate, I get the feeling a lot of people will feel like they were sold a lie. A bit of the flavor text. See a little bit more stuff. According to the information here, and there's quite a bit, it seems like this thing is going to be a 3 versus 3 kind of game. You see Deku there looking really awesome. Let's go a little further down here so you can kind of see promotional artwork. There we go. So yeah, according to this at least, quick 40-minute game, kind of a 2+ player game, and up to 8, which to me means you could probably do large games of 4v4 or 5v5 or what have you, which would be kind of cool if you had enough friends. I could just imagine a bunch of cosplayers sitting around playing as their characters battling each other. That could be pretty cool. See some of the packaging here. So it looks as if this is kind of what they're hoping to do. Pretty cool if they actually can do it. But part of me just feels like it's not possible without these being really expensive. And considering the target demographic, you don't necessarily want this to be hyper expensive. Of course, being that it's Catalyst and their connection to Topps, you get these really nice cards, which remind me of the cards from Alpha Strike. It's the first thing I thought when I saw them. But they seem like they'll look pretty cool, have a picture of the character, have their stats, their information, their skills, their abilities. Cool stuff. Ribbit. And it's using a dice system. Here you can see here where they're going to have the colors, so you know exactly what die to use. Bakugo just blowing everything up. Presentation-wise, this does kind of sell you on this will look really cool. Even some terrain stuff they're showing off here, so you get some buildings and what have you. And even she looks super cute. Eee. Alright. So, like I said, outside of the presentation side of things here, which is mostly the minis, the game itself seems like it's relatively simple. You have your specific colored dice, they tie into what your card says, you move around a board, you battle each other, you save the world or destroy it, whatever side you're playing. Fairly simple. But they really are trying to show off, hey, look how cool all our minis are going to be. And look at this. Look at just the sheer amount of stuff here. I'd just be afraid of breaking it, probably more than anything else. And if I didn't break it, I just get this feeling it's not going to look this good in person. So yeah, even on here, they do have a little bit on the gameplay side here, explaining how the cards work, some basic stuff. I'm sure most of this will be elaborated upon in the Kickstarter itself. That's kind of cool seeing the cards, so you actually can see what characters they're already kind of promoting here. Now, I have played a couple superhero RPGs. I generally didn't like them, and I think designing this as a combat game rather than an RPG was a great idea. Because while it would be fun to do a My Hero Academia RPG where you could level up your own personal hero and go through school, fight some new bad guys, a little bit of homebrewing on the right game can make that possible. Heck, if I had enough people in my life who wanted to play that, I could probably homebrew it together within a few hours and make a game that would at least be a good starting point, and I'd probably have to expand it as time progressed. But making this just a combat game is great for just pick up and play fighting. You don't have to sit there and wonder about, can I get the friends together or what have you. You can just straight up have your tokens, your dice. You go in, you do your fights, you have your overly elaborate figurines, and you have fun. There we go, it's the end of the website there, so I guess we'll and on Icy Hot over here. When I look at this, I can see a great amount of potential for a game that could have some major popularity amongst the anime crowd, but something inside me just goes, And I think I know why. It's because this is being released by Catalyst, and that in and of itself should always make someone worry when you're going to do a Kickstarter for an IP not named Battletech. And even if it is called Battletech, there's still problems. So if the big boy has the problems, you can imagine that someone else's IP will probably have a few hiccups of its own. I'll be honest here, I have mixed feelings when it comes to the game. On the one hand, the minis look pretty awesome, and if they can actually look that good in real life, that would be nice. But I highly doubt it. In addition to that, the rule set seems pretty solid for just a combat-oriented game. I mean, this is Catalyst. They do Battletech, and Battletech is a combat-oriented game. It's not like you couldn't go and study other good combat-oriented games, create a combat-oriented game based on an anime franchise, and put it out there. Because of that, I think there's some potential here, but honestly, I'd still like to see the rules, and probably check out more of the character cards so I can have a better idea of how balanced things are. Because I get the feeling one or two characters could probably just dominate. Okay, technically that's how things are in My Hero Academia as it is, but if it's not balanced, it's not going to be an exciting, fun game when everyone's going to take the 2 or 3 most powerful characters and just wail on each other. The people who've made Dragon Ball Z fighting games have realized you got to do at least some balancing, otherwise no one will ever play as Tien. And Tien's a pretty solid character. Beyond that, if things are going to be as designed as they are, how long is this going to take to get to market? When you look at the fancy minis and the fancy terrain, that's a lot of production, which means they're going to have to produce those things and get them out there. My worries aside, this will be successful. My Hero Academia is very popular, and instead of Voltron where they hit when the iron was cold, they're actually hitting when the iron's still pretty hot. You still see a ton of My Hero Academia cosplayers. There's still a lot of fandom, a lot of fan art, a lot of fan discussion. It's all out there, so maybe it's not as popular as, say, Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen, but it still has its popularity. However, a lot of the target demographic can't do Kickstarters or doesn't have the spare money to really spend on an expensive Kickstarter. And if the minis are going to look that elaborate, they will be expensive. Which is unfortunate because I could literally see this game gaining enough popularity that people might be playing it at cons. Even if that's the case, there's still a lot of problems with it. The expensiveness, how long it's going to take to get out, and if this gets funded to a point that we get some of the teachers and other characters, how long is it going to take for those minis to be produced and to eventually be released? And also the fact that you need to make sure that anime fans know this exists. If you're marketing to your standard tabletop people, sure, you'll have people like me, we do exist, but you're not going to have the standard convention people. You can't just go to Gen Con and other very niche tabletop events and expect to hit that anime demographic. it doesn't seem like something Catalyst is remotely equipped to do. And if this does hit the anime market just right and the game does look good enough, you're going to have to deal with a lot of sales, which on the one hand is good. But if Battletech has proven anything, once your sales go beyond a certain point, you have no way of dealing with it. And we could run into another debacle, but now you have angry anime fans. And trust me, you do not want to deal with angry anime fans. They get vicious. Good luck with that. Now, as for me, I'm not sure if I'm going to support it yet. I need to see the price. I need to see what the expanded things are. I think I could really enjoy this. And if they give us a rule set and maybe a couple of characters to mess around with, my brother and I might try a few rounds, see if we like it. I have difficulty trusting Catalyst, and the last thing I want to do is jump into another Kickstarter and not get any of my stuff for 2-3 years because of all their supply issues and because of the mismanagement the company has with getting products out. But maybe I'm being a little too negative. Maybe dressing up like Tamaki puts me in the mindset of everything's gonna suck. Or maybe that's just my standard mindset. I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to support this? Do you think this is a good idea? Or do you think this is going to be yet another nail in the very large coffin that will be Catalyst Games Lab? Beyond that, I have several videos tying into Catalyst, including my discussion about the primer for Battletech Gothic and our discussion about Voltron, the legendary cash grab. Until next time, thank you for watching. And remember, I'll see you at the tavern. Or whatever. Let's talk about the brand new Kickstarter by Catalyst Games Labs, CGL. Sorry. Every time I see their name, I just always think of 4chan. And then, like, I'm obviously dressed like this, so CGL.